Tomb of the Draugr. Snow crusted the burial mound. Eriksson stamped his boots and spat, the frost catching his beard. 2 days out here, and for what? A hill Johan, the younger, lugged the pickaxe up the slope. Old men in the village swore there's silver in this ground. They swore a lot, Eriksson muttered, hefting his lantern. Lars, their leader, jammed a crowbar into the stone seam they'd uncovered. Treasure doesn't bury itself. Now pry. The slab gave with a groan, and a gust of air rolled out, stale and rotten. Their lantern flames guttered. Eriksson gagged. Johan whispered a prayer, but Lars laughed and ducked into the dark. Inside, the chamber stretched wide, the walls slick with frozen breath. Their light fell on bodies. 5, 6, maybe more. Warriors sprawled where they had fallen, swords rusted in bone hands. Skulls were split clean. One man's ribs looked crushed inward as though by a hammer the size of an anvil. Johan knelt. They fought each other? No. Lars pointed to the pattern, the way they'd circled something at the chamber's center. They fought to keep someone down. The treasure waited on a squat altar. A wooden cross, dark with age, no taller than a man's hand. Plain. Worthless. Eriksson snorted. This? After all that? He rapped it with the butt of his knife. Why was this so treasured? They really have no sense, Johan frowned at the stone around it. Carved runes spidered outward, jagged and stark. He didn't read the language, but even he felt the warning in their shapes. Above, in the arching stone, crude pictograms showed figures, children perhaps, offered into the maw of something monstrous. Another panel showed swords raised, men carrying a cross into the tomb. Lars didn't care. He plucked the cross up. The wood was warm in his palm, though the air around them turned colder. The chamber rumbled. Dust rained from the ceiling. One of the slabs beneath him heaved. A hand burst through stone. Swollen, bog flesh, nails thick and yellow. Then shoulders armored in iron that had fused to dead flesh. The Draugr hauled itself upright with a wet, tearing sound. Its eyes burned like coals sunk deep in rot. Johan screamed and dropped his lantern. The light flared across the chamber as the creature moved, fast. It seized Eriksson first, one hand crushing his skull against the wall. Bone split like an eggshell. His body slumped, spraying gore across the altar. Lars drew his black powder cap lock, iron sight still gleaming, but the shot buried itself uselessly in the Draugr's chest. Smoke cleared to show only smouldering flesh, no wound. The revenant slammed into him, snapping his arm backwards at the elbow with a crack that echoed like musket fire. The cross skittered from his hand across the stones. Johan ran. The creature's boot caught him in the gut, hurling him into one of the ancient corpses. His lantern spilled oil. Fire caught along the floor, casting grotesque shadows. The Draugr bent low. Its breath was foul. It grinned, lips splitting around blackened teeth, then sank its hands into his torso. It tore him open as if gutting a deer, innards steaming in the cold. His shrieks drowned under the sound of ripping flesh. Lars staggered to his knees, cradling his arm, his eyes fixed on the wooden cross lying just out of reach. He lunged. The Draugr's foot pinned the relic, grinding it into the stone. Silence fell, save for Lars's choking sobs. The revenant leaned close, tilting its head. Then it lifted Lars high and drove him down onto the altar with enough force that the man's body folded and stayed broken. The mound shuddered once more. Deep in the earth, the Draugr stepped free of its prison, no longer bound. Thanks for listening to today's Quickfire story, Tomb of the Draugr. I set the challenge at 500 words or less. This one landed at 629, Seems like I keep missing my mark lately. This one's one is going on the list for me to revisit and expand. For anyone new here, the Quickfire challenge rules are simple. I take one of your comment seeds, I've got a 3-hour timer, and I turn it into a complete story. The target's 500 words or less. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. The point is creating dark fiction fast and tight. If you enjoyed this one, hit like, share it, and leave a comment with your own seed idea. You might just hear your words turned into the next Quickfire. For a written version and additional content, go to my Substack. Also, if you want more, check out Karl Otto's Dark Anthology Volume 1, now available on Amazon and Kindle. Until next time, thanks for listening, and remember, sometimes the treasure is better left buried. Karl Otto's Dark Anthology, where your nightmares breathe.